All right, let's do this, baby. We should be live on YouTube. And let's see, Instagram. There it is. Boom, baby. Let's go. Okay. Welcome back to Medication. It's our evening stream. And we are looking good. Instagram is live. YouTube is live. Gonna make a minor adjustment because this is our second session today, not our first session. And it's Tuesday. Let's go. All right, cool. Looks like we're looking good there. And let's go.
Great lengths to hide the truth about his condition and fitness for office. That story report on President Biden's use of the auto pen, finding his actions in office were not all his own and claiming his inner circle went to great lengths to hide the truth about his condition and fitness for office. That story doesn't go away. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Morning to you, partner. Good first hour.
That was spectacular.
Flying by.
Never seen anything better.
Right on. The words of Frank Sinatra.
Some of your best work.
By. Thank you. I appreciate you too as well.
Oh, thanks.
I'm Bill Hemmer. Here we go now. House Republicans on the Oversight Committee set to release a report after a series of interviews with more than a dozen key Biden aides. That committee calling on the DOJ to review all of Biden's executive actions signed by AutoPen and avoid any orders signed without his full knowledge and consent.
And we have brand new video just released as those aides appeared before the committee.
On Instagram, Ryan Flick says, "What is your opinion on Iran and when was the last time you went?" I think the last time I've only been there a few times, and I'm born and raised here in Orange County. Last time I went was probably 20 years ago. And my opinion on Iran is it was once a wonderful country, wonderful people, unbelievable people. And now it's, because of the Muslims, it's been destroyed. That's my opinion. By the way, if you want to come over, come to the YouTube side, because we have a chat on YouTube that's pretty active, bro. So come down.
He hand-signed many executive orders, but he did not hand sign all executive orders.
Do you know any of the actual staff who were using the auto pen?
No.
You don't know their names?
No.
His rhetorical skills were not as strong as they had been, and his speeches were less effective, I thought.
I think it's fair to say within a few days after the debate, he was aware of my view that I thought it was prudent to consider getting out of the race.
He said himself he wasn't as good debater as he used to be, or he wasn't speaking as well as he used to. That's something that he said. He actually spoke to.
So for a lot of us, that's the first time we've seen that video. Aisha Hosni has the follow-up on Capitol Hill with the key takeaways. And Aisha, good morning there.
Good morning to you, Bill and Dana. So the committee is just really dumping all of the information for you at home to watch and see and decide for yourself. But they are saying that the former president was not running the show, and so therefore his pardons and executive actions made by the auto pen, they are null and void. So take a look at this. This is really the process that the pardons went through when it went through the auto pen. You can see this is like a game of telephone here. It starts off with a staffer who tells former Chief of Staff Jeffrey Zients's aide, Rosa Poe, so not even Jeffrey Zients, but his aide, about the decision from the president. Then Poe calls Zients to inform him of the pardon decision, and then Zients tells Poe to send an email from his personal account to authorizing the auto pen. Then she sends an email approving the auto pen use from Zients' account, signed JZ. Someone in the staff secretary's office would then convey that to someone who would then use the auto pen for pardons. So you see here why there are so many questions. Now, it all comes after the panel dragged in more than a dozen Biden-era officials to Capitol Hill. We saw everyone from Karine Jean-Pierre, Zients, also Jill Biden's alleged work husband. The report alleges that these aides, they all coordinated a cover-up of the president's diminishing faculties. So the president, who just wrapped up chemo for prostate cancer, is responding today through a spokesperson writing this. This investigation into baseless claims has confirmed what has been clear from the start. President Biden made the decisions of his presidency. There was no conspiracy, no cover-up, no wrongdoing. Congressional Republicans should stop focusing on political retribution and instead work to end the government shutdown. Notably here, there were no criminal referrals from this report, but the committee is urging the DOJ bill to review all of the executive actions, all of these pardons that happened via AutoPen, and void any of them that were unauthorized. It's quite a web.
Sure enough, and more to come. Aisha, thanks leading our coverage on that story this hour. Thank you.
Wow. Holy cow. Here
Looks
we go.
like President Biden's AutoPen had a mind of its own. A House Oversight report revealing that recently uncovered documents and witness testimony indicate that even when a verbal decision was memorialized in an email, it doesn't prove that President Biden had made the decision himself. So the question keeps coming back to this. If it wasn't Biden, who was making presidential decisions? Well, it turns out Chief of Staff Jeff Zients would often give the sign-off for the AutoPen after this lengthy process of telephone calls. For example, in January 2025, Zients says that Biden held a meeting with aides about pardons for his brother and other family members. Now, Zients himself was not in that meeting. Remember, that's actually important. Then Deputy Chief of Staff Bruce Reed or White House counsel Ed Siskel presumably left the meeting and told Zients staffer Rosa Poe about Biden's decision. Poe then called Zients at home to relay the message. So according to this report, Zients did not bother calling the president or anyone else in that meeting to confirm that that actually all happened. He just went on to authorize the use of the AutoPen. Someone in the staff secretary's office would then convey that to somebody who would then use the AutoPen for the pardons. So look, how many times did this occur? And again, what did Biden know, if anything, about this process? And then there was the issue of his everyday life being micromanaged by his team, his clothing, his schedule, the number of steps he could walk or climb.
It's your testimony here today that you never just asked somebody, whether it was one of the senior advisors or the vice president, is the president okay?
I never had to ask that question because I saw the president on a daily basis, and I never ever thought if I never had that question.
Here with more is House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer. Congressman, thanks for joining us. I mean, to the regular person watching this out there in TV land, this stinks to high heaven. So we need your gut check. You've seen all the documents. Is there any evidence indicating that Biden himself was involved in approving these pardons? Real hard evidence?
There really isn't, and it's astonishing when you're talking about thousands of pardons and dozens of executive orders. Basically any legal document, especially during the last 3 months of the Biden administration, that's what we focused on. And every person who we deposed had a different story on what the proper process was that they followed in using the AutoPen to sign a legal document. Their stories were inconsistent, and then when you throw in the emails from the Merrick Garland Department of Justice expressing concern to these very staffers about the excessive use of the AutoPen and asking point-blank questions, what was their process, then the entire story's changed. So the inconsistencies are abound. But one thing that is...
What's up, guys? Just going through some AutoPen stuff. What's up, State Line and Random? Sean, what's up, buddy?
Consistent, Laura, is the fact that no one saw Joe Biden, no one who authorized the AutoPen or even gave the authorization to use the AutoPen. No one who authorized the AutoPen or actually physically manually pressed the power button on the AutoPen ever heard directly from Joe Biden. And furthermore, there are no notes, there's no chain of custody that would show that Joe Biden was involved in any meetings where they discussed the pardon process. I mean, this is appalling, and everyone in America saw during the debate and during the last few months of the Biden administration, this was a president in decline. The staffers confirmed that they would go weeks, months, and even years without communicating with Joe Biden. This is a massive cover-up, and what we determined was every pardon should be declared null and void.
Well, back to that point, I want to get into specific pardons in a moment, but that's all well and good to say they're null and void, but I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to ask you this. Is there really any legal means of challenging these pardons? I mean, I don't see any federal court that wants to get involved in what seems to be unknowable with the president's plenary pardon power? I think they're going to call it a political question and say we're not getting involved.
Well, that's why we brought Dr. O'Connor in, the White House physician, and we asked him the first question, Dr. O'Connor, were you ever told to lie about Joe Biden's health? And he pled the Fifth Amendment. We had so many questions about the mental fitness. What we found in the
Well, dude, random, I don't know if Hunter still has it because they were just talking about his family's pardons. I think he did talk to someone about his family pardons, but I don't know if the whole process was legit.
Investigation also was the fact that,
or was Hunter's hand signed? Biden's or was Hunter's was? Okay.
The President Biden's staff talked about whether or not they should give him a cognitive test, and then according to the staffers, they ultimately decided to not give him a cognitive test. Now, that makes no sense. If you wanted to prove to the skeptics in the media and the skeptics in the Republican Party that the president was mentally fit for office, why not give him a cognitive test? We wonder whether or not they gave the test and he failed, or did they decide not to give the test because they knew he would fail? Either way, there's no evidence that shows Joe Biden was an active participant in the decision-making process in any of those pardons or executive orders that were signed with the auto pen.
Are you of the view that, for instance, Biden's pardon of his brother, Jim, or let's say Anthony Fauci, are you of the view that those pardons are null and void, given what you know?
I am. Absolutely, 100%. If anyone
So it's the brother, not the son, the brother.
Anyone doubts whether or not there was a cover-up, they need to watch every minute of the testimony that we got, all of the hours and hours of depositions from these staffers, where you had people like Ian Sams, who was his spokesperson, who would come out every day and give press conferences blasting me or blasting Robert Hur or Jim Jordan or someone. Under oath, when we asked him, how many times did you meet directly with Joe Biden? He said 2 times in 2 years.
What? What? Really?
Neera Tanden, his executive secretary. Well, 2 times in 2 years. Neera Tanden, then, who's his executive.
Dude, when I saw the stats on how many days off Biden took, I don't know if it was real, but it was nuts. What's up, boo-boo? Welcome.
Secretary, who that position is one of the closest to the president, whether it's Obama, Trump, George Bush, Obama. She admitted that she would go weeks without having any interaction with Joe Biden. They clearly shielded him, not only from the American people, but from their inner staff. If he was an active participant, there would be notes. There would be notes. The National Archives has no record of notes. There are no emails. It almost looks like they went back and changed their story from he approved it verbally and orally to, we had memos and things like that. There were so many inconsistencies. And I think that the Department of Justice can bring all these people in, especially the 3 staffers and the doctor who pled the Fifth Amendment, and press them for more information, because at the end of the day, the American people know that Joe Biden was in a mental state of decline. He hasn't given, a TV interview since he left office. The statement blasting my report today wasn't from him. It was from
he couldn't, bro.
An unnamed staff.
Even with the teleprompter, he couldn't talk in front of the TV. He was out of it.
Thousands of fire victims suing the state of California, saying it is to blame for January's devastating Pacific Palisades fire. William Langeness is in the Palisades neighborhood of Los Angeles.
Did you hear this? They're suing Newsom, bro, for the Palisades fires.
Joins us now. William, what's the latest?
Well, John, Governor Newsom says the state is blameless here, that the lawsuit is meritless because an arsonist is to blame. However, lawyers for the victims say, wait a minute, that failures and negligence on the part of the city and the state make them financially liable for the losses that you see. So, let me explain. The U.S. Attorney has already charged 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderneck with setting the Lockman fire in the hills above the Palisades. It was around midnight on New Year's Eve, and by dawn, firefighters claimed to have put that Lockman fire out. But investigators later found that wasn't accurate. that firefighters failed to extinguish the fire and that embers continued to smolder underground and reignited to cause the Palisades fire.
Now, this is a shocking story if you ask me, because it's about time that somebody tries to hold the state of California accountable for their incompetence. The fact that they make it very, that remains to be seen. But I want you guys to pay attention to what else they said. Take a listen.
And here is their alleged smoking gun. January 2nd, 24 hours after firefighters said the Lockman fire was fully contained, this hiker video shows the fire still smoldering, and you can see the smoke. Now, lawyers in the lawsuit say the firefighters failed to use thermal imaging or mop up the Lockman fire, so it was out. They also say the state parks department, contrary to its own rules, failed to inspect where the fire began on the park or post a fire watch, despite a high wind forecast that investigators say reignited the embers a week later.
There's no evidence that a single state employee did their job, followed their own policy manual, inspected that area where the fire was, knew that these devastating winds were coming. They just didn't do their job. And we intend to hold the state of California responsible.
Governor Newsom rejects the claim, saying, quote, the state didn't start this fire. That was an arsonist. And the state wasn't responsible for responding to or monitoring the fire. But opportunistic plaintiffs' attorneys are now going after this Department of Parks and Rec.
He threw the firefighters under the bus. He took no responsibility, completely dodged the issue of his own state parks agency not doing inspection of this land.
Yeah, you see Gavin's response. He is claiming that these people are looking for a payday. What's interesting is the celebrities who got donations for fire victims, they were looking for a payday. I haven't seen you comment on that whatsoever. And it's interesting how most of the money didn't even get to the actual victims, which is why they're also being sued. So listen, this is a recurring thing with California. They promise the world, but deliver a few crumbs. And so they deserve everything that's coming their way, especially Gavin Newsom. Now, let's go to, since we're on the subject of Gavin Newsom, he had an interview last night on CNN. Why CNN is giving him the time of day, I have no idea.
Driving the narrative matters. Substance, Prop 50. Substance, 53 lawsuits against the administration. Substance, $11 insulin. $25 minimum wage for healthcare workers, $20 minimum wage for fast food workers, a worker-centered career education strategy with over 600,000 new apprenticeships, reforming our civil service system, a brand new grade pre-K for all, improved test scores in California. I can go through a list, universal healthcare, the whole thing. Substance. At the same time, we've got to drive the narrative.
Okay, so the governor is right. Narrative does matter, which is why I have here on the screen for you what the true narrative is. See, he leaves out these particular set of facts that really has contributed to why millions of Americans that used to live in California have moved away, including myself.
So cost of living, third highest, fuel first, and this is in the nation. Electricity, fourth highest, grocery, third highest. Starting a business, fourth. I thought it'd be even high. I thought we were the toughest on starting a business, but that's probably New York. Homelessness, first highest, or I don't know. What do you guys think? What other states would be the highest in starting a business? Okay, for homelessness, we are number one in the homelessness. Holy
Cost
cow.
of living, third highest. Fuel is the first highest. Electricity is the fourth highest in the nation. Groceries, third highest. Starting a business, fourth highest, and homelessness is first highest. Just
NYC, Hawaii, NYC,
alone
okay.
Gives you a reason why you shouldn't be living in California unless it's obviously for family reasons, right? Or your job. But this is what the governor likes to do. He's already trying to shape public opinion regarding the Trump administration, and I don't think it's going to work, especially when we continue to catch him lying. Let me show you an example of that. Here he is lying about the fact that his son isn't a fan of Charlie Kirk. Hear this.
So that's your son, obviously a fan of Charlie Kirk. What was the conversation like between you and your son after Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
Well, he called me, I don't know how he got a phone, but he called me from school that day, really alarmed. And all his friends were around the phone that wanted me to somehow express or understand what was going on. He wanted to know if he was dead. He wasn't a fan of him as much as he was familiar with him.
It reminds me financially what's wrong with this country. You have to think about the interest rates at this point. You've got.
He would not.
Oh shit!
School demise 13.
Did DeVore pull my clip? No way.
School demise 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
No, this is not my. It looks like my clip, bro. I thought maybe you pulled mine. Who knows?
Did you let him to take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason.
No, it's not. It's not mine. Mine would be even better than this.
Point is the
you canceled school for like 2 years. Once one day, it took 1 day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
Wow. I mean, a kid who.
Times Charlie can be here. What bed? He's like, last night trying to put my son to bed. He's like, no, Dad. What time? What time's Charlie can be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him to take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is
you canceled school for like 2 years. Once one day, it took 1 day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
Wow. I mean, a kid who's just familiar with.
He just said Charlie Kirk didn't like him, and then he said Charlie Kirk just knew of him.
With Charlie Kirk,
Come on.
I'm sure he wouldn't be
sorry.
one.
He said his son didn't like or wasn't a fan of Charlie Kirk, and it turns out he was, dude. He lies on one podcast and then
wanting to miss school over
I'm sorry.
him.
He tells the truth on one podcast and lies on the news.
But hey, you know, this is the type of person Gavin Newsom is, and I had to show it to you because I'm telling you, this guy's going to continue to make appearances.
Morning. This happened just moments ago. He is facing concerns about federal agents' aggressive tactics. For weeks now, we have seen ICE agents using tear gas across Chicago neighborhoods, including this past weekend as agents tried to take a landscaper into custody on the city's north side. And then again, near a Halloween parade, ICE was arresting an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who they say had previously been arrested for assault. Bovino himself is accused of tossing a tear gas canister into a crowd of protesters last week, violating a court order that was in place. That order limits the use of force and riot control methods like tear gas during immigration protests unless there is an imminent threat. Now in a new filing, late Monday, attorneys are asking a judge to completely block agents from using tear gas in the city altogether. This comes as Bovino continues to defend his agents' actions, telling News Nation he stands behind the use of force and that the tactics are within the law.
Yeah, when you have a riot on your hands, pepper balls and tear gas, that's a normal thing. That even
about the judge hoping that she can sort of get some accountability from Greg Bovino today. I want to mention 3 things that happened in just the last half hour in court, and I want to see if these sort of move the ball in any way from your perspective. 3 things she's asking for. Number 1, she wants all use of force reports and body-worn camera footage since September 2nd by the end of the week. I guess that's 1 and 2. And that she wants Bovino in court every weekday between now and November 5th for an in-person update. Does that do anything to help assuage your concerns of a lack of accountability?
Well, to start, I don't know if there's anything that's going to assuage my apprehension or even, quite frankly, my rejection of their approach, simply because, as I said, it has been incredibly gruesome of how this administration has executed in this particular season, but it certainly is a start in the right direction.
Okay, there's really 2 things at play here. One side of the country believes that the tactics that Border Patrol or ICE agents are using has crossed the line. They're unconstitutional. They're illegal. The
Boo Boo says this mayor probably illegal too. Who knows, bro? Travis says, damn judges trying to run the country and tell officers what they can and can't do in the middle of a riot.
The interesting thing about the way they feel, because that's what it is, a bunch of feelings, it's not true. What ICE is doing is what they are allowed to do based on the authority they've been given by Congress. If we don't like what they are doing, the only solution is not to riot in the streets, not to obstruct justice or prevent them from doing their job.
Not to throw boulders at their cars.
Not attacking ICE agents and vandalizing vehicles.
doxing them and trying to help the cartels capture them or kill them.
But it is to go to your elected leaders in Congress and protest against them so that they can change the law. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this is nothing compared to what's coming in 2026. Understand something. The one big beautiful bill is going to drop some huge funding when it comes to ICE. They don't have access to that today. That comes next year. So just imagine what's going to happen next year based on what's already happened this year. Okay, why don't we hear one more update?
Well, dude, Obama deported way more people and did it inhumanely, put kids in cages, and we didn't see anything happen.
About what happened outside the courtroom while
They didn't say a word about
was
it.
there and what might be used to make his case.
Now, a key piece of evidence that's going to be introduced in court here today is video of Bovino lobbing a tear gas canister into a crowd of demonstrators in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood. DHS says the crowd in the predominantly Hispanic neighborhood had become aggressive when Border Patrol agents were detaining people. Also, that objects were thrown at agents. Bovino was hit on the head before the tear gas was deployed. Bovino told Fox News last week that he believes Border Patrol will come out on top of this thing.
Now, just so you guys understand, the moment before he threw the tear gas, the protesters were throwing rocks at the ICE agents. Before they were throwing rocks at the ICE agents, they were actually in pursuit of an illegal alien that led to a traffic accident. They got out of their vehicle, pursued this illegal alien, was able to apprehend him, and then people in the neighborhood got word. They showed up. They started obviously yelling at these ICE officials. ICE officials told them to back away, etc. It escalated. They started throwing rocks, and then he deployed tear gas. And the judge is believing that he violated her order. But again, what lower court judge has the authority to micromanage an agency that comes from the executive branch? I'm not too sure that is a real thing. Okay, why don't we hear from some of the protesters that showed up to the courtroom, because I think you'll find their rationale interesting. Take a listen.
Now, I want to bring you guys back out here. I am speaking with a protester, Zoe. Zoe, you were here when Bovino walked in. Describe to me what that moment was like.
Yeah, it was a little chaotic, but it was a group of Chicagoans making it very clear to him, we are not okay with you terrorizing our neighborhoods, tear gassing elementary schools, throwing tear gas at basically every Chicagoan they can find in any neighborhood they can find.
Now, I also want to show your sign right here.
Throwing tear gas at every Chicagoan you can find? What are you talking about, bro?
This is a timeline of what you've documented as far as tear gas use. What have you seen, and how are you feeling about the use of tear gas?
Sure, I'm in Hyde Park. It hasn't happened to my neighborhood yet, but I hope I don't have to add any more neighborhoods to this. It is absolutely disgusting that the Trump admin has declared war on its own people. We are all U.S. citizens. We are a diverse group of Chicagoans. As you can tell, we're a diverse group of protesters from all backgrounds. We are all Chicagoans, and we want him to stop gassing our neighborhoods and terrorizing our neighbors and terrorizing Latinos and anyone who has brown skin in this city. It needs to stop.
All right, so let's play this game. Let's say I agree with her. You saw the poster she was holding, all of the dates and the location, more aggressive approach.
Massive overhaul of ICE leadership. I'm told by 4 senior DHS officials that they're removing up to 12 ICE chiefs from around the country from their positions and reassigning them. I'm told this is a move spearheaded by Corey Lewandowski, and it's all in an effort to boost deportation.
Well, you have Nick Fuentes saying that they should just, I'm going to put that on in a second, but he says that they should just come in hard and stop all this, dude. Stop playing around. The little tiptoeing around and trying to be PC with all this effort that they're doing to deport is only making things worse. And I think he has a point. I'm going to play that in a second.
Numbers, which are already at more than 500,000 since President Trump took office. So here's what we're talking about. Some of the ICE leadership positions being removed are the heads of ICE here in Los Angeles, in San Diego, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Seattle, El Paso, New Orleans.
Upside Down Town is on a good one. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. He says, "What the F is wrong with you? What's up, bro? What's your question?"
And Denver, just to name some of them. I'm told some of their replacements.
Calling names. You freaks are ruining the country. Tell us why.
Will be Border Patrol officials hand-selected by...
Explain yourself.
Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino. whose aggressive and sometimes controversial tactics.
He says, you freaks are ruining the country, and that's a lie.
That's a lie.
Don't be a beta male, bro.
Beta.
You're a beta, bro. Beta.
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 Beta male.
Beta male.
Come on now. So
you're gay?
I didn't know you're gay.
I didn't know you were gay.
To arrest illegal aliens have elevated him within the Trump
Come
administration.
on now.
This is significant because Border Patrol and ICE do very different things, and we've embedded with both.
Let's see what he's got to say. Come on, explain yourself. Do you have at least half a brain, bro? Let's see.
Agencies multiple times. When we're with ICE, they're typically doing targeted enforcement of criminal illegal aliens. Always
targeted enforcement of criminal illegal aliens.
Knowing who they are arresting beforehand and often doing hours of surveillance to try and learn the target's schedule. Now, Border Patrol has been much more aggressive. They conduct roving patrols and raids at places like Home Depot, car washes, and flea markets, pretty much arresting anyone they suspect is in the U.S. illegally.
The question is, do you guys agree with the mass deportation operation as a whole becoming more aggressive? Now, it's my opinion.
Border Patrol source telling Fox, quote, what did everyone think mass deportations meant? Only the worst? Tom Homan has said it himself. Anyone in the U.S. illegally is on.
Donald Trump ran on deportations, on deporting illegal aliens. He ran on fixing the border, closing the border so we don't have more illegals coming in, and deporting the ones that are here. We voted for that. And the guy, unlike Democratic presidents before him, is actually doing what he said he's going to do.
On the table.
That's actual democracy, or our constitutional republic actually doing what it's supposed to do.
Now, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin wouldn't confirm the personnel shakeup in a statement to Fox, saying in part,
What's up,
quote,
Eric?
while we have no personnel changes to announce at this time, the Trump administration remains laser focused on delivering results and removing violent criminal illegal immigrants from this country.
In the chat, upside down, I mean, his name describes himself very well. He's upside down. Your deportation scheme, this is what he says. He says, your deportation scheme is a cultural strategy, and that's it. False. I just explained to you. Donald Trump said that's what he's running on during his campaign. We said, wow, that's actually what we want. We're going to vote for you. And then he got elected, and he's doing the thing that he said he's going to do. Then he upside down follows up by saying, all these deportations and your life hasn't changed 1 ounce. Explain your life has changed aside from your raging boner. They're currently doing the deportations, and the effects of it will take time. Wake up, bro. This is not a on-off switch kind of a thing.
And Dana, a senior Trump administrator.
Trump said he's going to do it. He ran on that. We said, great. That's what we want. We're going to vote for you. We voted for him. And the guy's doing it. I know you guys aren't used to that on the left. I know it's a weird thing, but that's what happened.
Official.
It's how it should work.
Did confirm these personnel moves to Fox, adding that there was a big widespread review of ICE leadership after the One Big Beautiful Bill passed. And I'm told these changes were made based off who the administration feels can execute a mass deportation agenda with all of that added money and staffing.
I'll let you guys in the chat explain to him what's going to improve or how that it changes things.
Coming from that bill.
Now,
I'm going to find this other, well, let's go to this. Tom Homan's got something to say. He's always good, bro. That's what he's got to say.
That's all I asked for. Well, here's what Tom Homan had to say. Take a listen.
Look, Fox News has been monitoring a situation where some of these ICE chiefs are saying that they don't agree with how things are being carried out. And I just want to get your thought on that, because things are rolling along. So any changes at this point, it's like any other mission. It does have an effect.
Well, absolutely does. And look, I've read a few of the stories this morning on the way to work. I want to make one thing perfectly clear. First of all, I said from day one, we are going to prioritize public safety threats and national security threats. And the data proves about 70% fall in that category. The other 30% are gang members, national security threats who don't have a criminal history, but 70% of
upside down, you are a Trump hater and you are a beta male.
You are a Trump hater and you are a beta male.
Let's play that again so you can you really, really let that sink in.
You are a Trump hater. And you're a beta male.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
Satan is your daddy, woman.
If everybody we're removing is a criminal, bottom line. And I said from day one, even though we prioritize public safety, trust, and national security.
Tom Homan just said everyone that we're removing is a criminal, bottom line.
Threats. If you're in the country,
let's play it again.
Even though we prioritize public safety, trust, and national security threats, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table, especially for the 1.4 million illegal aliens who have final orders of deportation. They've had the due process at great taxpayer expense. They need to be prioritized too, because they're quick removals. When we find them and arrest them, they've already had the due process. We can remove them in 24 hours. So the prioritization continues to be public safety, trust, national security. Those with
I was gonna mess with him a little more. I was gonna mess with him a little more to see what he's got.
But again, if you're in the United States illegally, you're not off the table. You should leave on your own and give yourself an opportunity to come out of the legal program. But if we have to seek you out and
but he is cussing, he's kind of talking shit, huh? I don't
find
know.
you, if we find you in a sanctuary city because we're forced into the neighborhood to find the bad guy, and we find you, you may not be a public safety threat, but you're in the country illegally, you're going to be arrested, or you're going to be deported.
That's exactly what the mindset should be, and they should maintain
And then here is
that.
the crazy
black
Chicago.
babies, black administration.
According to Mayor Brandon Johnson, what this whole thing is about black babies being thrown in the back of vans. Take a listen.
No one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified. It is racist. When you have black babies being thrown in the back of vans, zip tied in the middle of the night, and masked men sticking guns in the face.
Is he talking about Obama? Because that sounds like what Obama did.
Faces of black and brown people, that is nasty, is vicious, is racist. Dr. King described it as an evil. Militarism and that formation is an evil.
Don't bring up Dr. King, bro. He would stomp on your ass. Dr. King would not like you, bro. Please. All right, so let's go right here. I think we're gonna get into some. Wow, I mean, I don't have the spot exactly where he talks about what they should do. I think it's like right here.
It's been my experience. So last question, where is all of this going in this country? Like,
Well,
where are we in 5 years?
Not anywhere good. I'm really concerned, and I'm not one of these doomsday sayers, socially dislocated or socially dysfunctional. What happens, I would say that is maybe the next step. And then the other ingredient that's always there is, although they don't have a social life in the real world, they have a social life on the internet.
Yeah. It's interesting, your audience, as I imagine it, I've never seen any of your numbers. I don't even know how big your audience is. It seems big to me, but I think of them as young men.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bulk of your audience, right?
Yes.
And yet here you are criticizing weed and video games and the internet, and you work on the internet. You are a creation. I mean, you wouldn't exist without the internet.
Kid in the audience jumps up and says, "All right."
I literally can't handle it. I'm so upset by it. I haven't looked at anything.
I'm going to go.
It's disgusting. And I saw that and said, yeah, like.
And that is, do you think it's related to
feminism, bro? We're going to go into this.
The huge decline in like actual sex and relationships and marriage, screwed up dating, all of this derives in part from porn, do you think?
I think it's a huge part of it. It's a huge factor. And it's even on the other side too. It's become so destigmatized for women to actually participate in porn. People don't even recognize that OnlyFans is a porn star.
What would the reaction be among, I don't know, people under 50?
I think
they wouldn't think that was crazy?
No, I think especially among young men, they know it's a problem. It's ruining their lives. And they know it.
So what are the other factors that prevent, I'm sorry I called you gay, by the way, but I'm always, I think I'm just too old or something. I'm like, why isn't anyone married? You tell me, why aren't people married?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's the women. The women are extremely liberal. No one talks about that. Increasingly they do, especially after the last election. There's a 40.
I like this part of this conversation. Check this out. Check out what he says here, dude. This is interesting shit.
last election, there's a 45-point difference between men and women. The men are extremely conservative, increasingly. The women are extremely liberal.
What are they liberal on? What issues? Like, what does that mean, liberal?
Oh, they're very feminist.
Like, actually?
Extremely feminist, yes.
They don't believe that, do they?
I think they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes.
I believe that.
I
If
think
gender roles are a construct, that none of this is inborn, like, you'd have to be an idiot to think that.
they like the idea of it. They like because of course I think all women naturally want strong men.
Of course, obviously.
They naturally want a Chad. You know,
Yeah.
they want like a tall, buff guy.
He said something. He says something here. He says something along the lines of men are the party that are the party that have to have the responsibility, but they don't get the authority. And check this out.
But I think they like the idea of none of them want to work either. None of them
That's what
actually
I'm
want
saying.
to work.
No, that's what
but-
I'm saying. Of course. That's of course.
Right.
It's obviously true. It's always been true. Work outside the home.
Right.
They don't have enough work at home. There's
Yes.
a lot to do. But no, I completely agree. So that's why I question, like, they're feminists in what sense?
Yes. And, they like these vague appeals to equality. We want a chance to work and we want respect. And, ultimately, I think the whole political system is just based around women never being accountable for any of their choices. Ultimately, that seems to be that's what abortion is.
Yeah, of course.
Because 99% of abortions are elective. So they say it's an unplanned pregnancy. You had sex out of wedlock with someone you didn't intend to have kids with. So now we have to kill the kids in the womb. And, these no-fault divorce laws. These women get married to guys maybe they never intend to stay with. And then when they're out, they're done. And they want child support and they want half the stuff. And I think a lot of men are looking at women and they're very liberal. They're overweight. They have a very high estimation of themselves. I think that people call it hoflation.
Hoflation?
Yes. Their sense of their own looks and sexual value is very inflated. And so a lot of people are looking at these like frumpy, obnoxious, loudmouth, liberal women who are also very promiscuous and saying this is not actually appealing at all. And I don't want to start a family with a person
Sounds
like
awful.
this. Yeah, it is.
But if you believe in the patriarchy, as I fervently do, because it's just reality, we didn't choose the system. We were born into a system that is part of nature. Can't get out of it. So if you believe that that's true, which it is, then you think that men should lead. And if it's going to be better, men should make it better because that's their job.
Right.
So you don't want to give them a pass, do you? It'd be like, it's all the girls suck. So
I don't even blame it on the women because I think that it's the incentive structures. Women are allowed to do this by the legal system, by kind of social norms. Technology is a big part of it. The attention that is available.
I agree with him that he's saying where he says he doesn't blame the women. It's part of what we've put into place through politics.
To women go on Instagram and they get attention from thousands of men. So it's the incentives. But I would say that, because I hear this all the time, people say, well, the men need to step up and be better and lead the women. Easier said than done.
I agree. Of course, I agree with that.
They're at war with the system, and not even just the system, but also society.
It's this part.
Because let's say you find one of these so-called good girls who's Christian and traditional, but through osmosis, wherever you go, she's going to be in society. She's going to be on TikTok. She's going to be on Instagram. She's going to be talking to other women. And maybe she's one way when you meet and get married, but 10 years down the road, 15 years, 20 years down the road, people change. And I think that women, as kind of the ultimate conformists, the ultimate enforcers of like social norms, I think eventually the pressure from society kind of gets to them. And a lot of them will go in
Depends
a
what
different
kind of
direction.
husbands they have. I mean, if there's real leadership at home, I don't know a single happily married woman who's liberal. Not one. I know a lot of married women. I mean, I'm 56. All the women I know are married.
Mm-hmm.
And every happily married woman is non-liberal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine. There's no category for.
It's crazy, bro. And I don't think he's lying, but he's literally saying every single person that's unhappily married is liberal. No liberal that is married is happy from what he's
Happily
saying.
married, middle-aged liberal woman. There isn't, never been one.
Right.
So like maybe the job is to, make a girl happy and like all this nonsense ends.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be a bottomless pit too, because the one critique I have of the men is, and you're right about this, they enable this behavior.
Well, that's for sure.
It's epidemic of simps.
100%.
And especially with Christians, I've noticed this. This is why Andrew Tate, I think that could be a bottomless pit too, because the one critique I have of the men is, and you're right about this, they enable this behavior.
Well, that's for sure.
It's epidemic of simps who, and especially with Christians, I've noticed this. This is why Andrew Tate has so much appeal, and the Christians are kind of losing this conversation. Andrew Tate's a Muslim polygamist who is very chauvinistic, and you could even argue it as someone who has ran an OnlyFans site himself, like is not an observer, let's say, of Christian sexual morality.
I didn't know that he ran an OnlyFans himself.
No.
But men are going with him.
I had no idea Andrew Tate had an OnlyFans.
Because he's putting women in their place. He's talking about patriarchy and women's place in a society like that. Whereas Christian men, Catholics, Protestants alike, are both kind of tone policing the men. And they...
by the way, guys, I'm taking callers. If you guys want to come on and be live and speak your mind, welcome. Come in and let us know so we could get you on live.
They worship their wives. They worship the women, put them on a pedestal. And they, they kind of get bossed around. They get henpecked by the women.
I think we're required to love our wives. Like that's, all over the New Testament. Husbands, love your wives. Wives, respect your husbands. That seems like a very natural balance to me.
Yeah, and I think that you have to love your wife as your wife.
Yeah.
A lot of men...
As opposed to what? Your mom?
Well, no, like your buddy.
No.
Because I hear this all the time, and I hate this. Guys will say, I married my best friend. And I think, she's your wife. She's not your best friend. Because there's a difference.
What is the difference?
I think that when you talk about your best friend, you're a peer. You're an equal. And I think your best friendships are with other men. And I think that your wife ultimately is subordinate to you. She's your helpmate. Yeah. And ultimately, as the man in the marriage and as the father, you have authority, the final say.
W. King James, bro, 23. He said in the chat, 23 years happily married. Right on.
Over the household.
Well,
and she can give advice. It's not to say I'm not a freak where you say, shut up, woman. Of course, you discuss things with your wife and your wife gives input, but the authority rests with the man.
Of course. But God set up this kind of amazing system where men are physically stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you could make your wife do whatever you wanted. You're bigger than she is.
Right.
But he also instilled in men this desire to please your wife. That's a very natural thing. You want your wife to be happy.
Absolutely.
And the whole happy wife, happy life thing is completely real. It's like you can't get away from it. It's not like all of these things. It's not a choice. It's the biological reality that you live with, that you were born with. You want your wife to be happy. And if she's unhappy, you're unhappy to a much greater extent than vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I think men care about their wives being happy much more than wives care about their husbands being happy.
Yes.
I have noticed. And that's compensation for their lack of physical power.
Mm-hmm.
That's my view
Clay?
of it. And that's why it is this kind of perfect balance. But somebody needs to be the final decision maker. I completely agree. And when you give up that, when you abrogate that, there's no respect, there's unhappiness, and then there's infidelity.
Right. Well, that's the ingredient that's missing. The way I would put it very succinctly is
right here.
Men right now are the responsible party, but have no authority. And that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
See that? Men are the responsible authority, the responsible party, but have no authority. Does that make sense to you guys? Is that as Medi has mute button for Wayne now? No. Men are the responsible party, but have no authority. That right there, he's on to something with this.
If the buck stops with you and you're to blame and you're the responsible one, then you also need to be able to have the final say and call the shots. And one without the other doesn't work. And I think that is
I think that's really smart and absolutely right. I do think, I just noticed this, that men who stay unmarried for too long become like kind of fragile. There's something about the give and take. There's something about living with, in fact, I think it's the key to life, someone you don't fully understand that broadens you, that keeps you always thinking, that makes you wiser, more patient, more thoughtful, more self-aware, and more flexible. And those are all good qualities. And the absence of that, like in homosexuality or like men who are single too long, they get very rigid. Have you ever noticed this? Like, I like things the way I like them, and they just get like, no.
Oh, yeah. I certainly get what you mean by that.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. I would say that when you say you don't fully understand women, to me, I feel like women are very simple in terms of...
Have you ever lived with one?
No, I haven't lived with them, but I mean, and don't get me wrong, maybe it's difficult, but I feel like they're pretty simple.
We're all pretty simple. I mean, no one's more simple than I am, but we're all pretty simple. But what I mean is, like, on a day-to-day, on the level of experience, like, you don't always understand what they're saying because it's never about what they say it's about.
Right.
And men are...
Tamara totally nailed it. Says Tamara in the chat says toxic feminism is destroying the modern man.
Just tend to be
straight up, dude.
Kind of dog-like in their straightforwardness. You know, I'm hungry, I'm horny, whatever it is.
I disagree. I feel like men are complicated. I feel like women are like, I'm hungry, I'm horny. I feel like men are very complicated.
Really? How?
Because men are masters of the universe. Women are the universe. You know, this is what Spengler says about them. And so I think that...
Spengler? Men are masters of the universe? Spengler. Men are masters of the universe. Oswald Spengler. I'm going to save that. See, notice what he said? That's interesting. He said men are masters of the universe and women are the universe. Interesting, man. I've never heard that before. 206.53. Let's hear this again.
I feel like women are very simple in terms of...
Have you ever lived with one?
No, I haven't lived with them, but I mean, and don't get me wrong, maybe it's difficult, but I feel like they're pretty simple.
We're all pretty simple. I mean, no one's more simple than I am, but we're all pretty simple. But what I mean is, like, on a day-to-day, on the level of experience, like, you don't always understand what they're saying because it's never about what they say it's about.
Right.
And men are just tend to be kind of dog-like in their straightforwardness. You know, I'm hungry, I'm horny, whatever it is.
I disagree. I feel like men are complicated. I feel like women are like, I'm hungry, I'm horny. I feel like men are very complicated.
Really? How?
Because men are masters of the universe. Women are the universe. You know, this is what Spengler says about them. And so I think that men have like a deep connection to things like math and space, and they want to conquer the world.
Of course.
And, you know, things like this. And women, I feel like, are actually very primal and instinctual.
Yes.
They
Much
want security.
earthier.
Yes. Chthonic, you know, they're of the
100%.
terrestrial.
Never embarrassed by bodily functions. Men are so squeamish.
Yes.
Women are not at all. They give birth. No, that is absolutely true. But I mean in the way that women...
I think I need to understand what he means, but I don't think I'm getting it. So I took note of the Spengler. His name is Oswald Spengler, and let's see what it says here. Here's chat real quick. I'll put on your screen. It says here the idea that Spengler men are the masters of the universe is a misinterpretation of German philosopher Oswald Spengler's work. The phrase actually comes from the popular 1980s Toyland and animated series Masters of the Universe feature. Okay, so that's not... I gotta look this up. I'm gonna look into that another time and see what exactly he meant by that.
Present their concerns. There's almost always something that's not being fully expressed. Like, I got mad at you last night because I was pissed about something last year. That's not a male thing to do. You can't remember what happened last year.
Right.
Right? And so, but anyway, but whatever the point, men and women talk past each other constantly. They don't always know what the other one is saying. And that frustration actually gives way to like great beauty over time, I would say.
I don't know. I personally find women very frustrating when they are not expressing, and I just
That's
view
the
that
beauty
as like,
of it.
I see.
See, this goes back to what I say. I say Nick Fuentes, he's young, and he's having these major moments where he sits down with very experienced people. He sat down with PBD. He's sitting down right now with Tucker Carlson. He sits down with lots of people with experience and knowledge and years of life under the belt, and they show him a lot of things. They teach him a lot of things. It's up to him if he listens to it.
The way I look at it is like when you look at your.
But it's great that he has that. That's a fantastic thing for a young man to be able to learn from people, great people that have good knowledge.
Favorite TV shows,
right?
The Sopranos, Breaking Bad. It's like the wife is the villain because it's like the main character, if the wife could just get out of the way, would be running the show. And that's kind of how I feel like Ayn Rand, I agree with her about this. She said that the wife's role is like hero worship. The guy is the hero. The guy is supposed to be the entrepreneur, the conqueror, whatever. And the woman is really supposed to support the man's goals and be in his world. And
that's the
felt that
last
way.
thing successful men need is more power worship, more hero worship, more, you're so great. When you get that at work, you don't want that at home. You become an unbearable asshole. And then you fall prey to what destroys every successful man, which is hubris. Like you mistake yourself for God.
Sean in the chat, let me take this back. Sean in the chat says, Medi, you're right. He has potential to be a force for sure. He just needs to formulate his outlook on life with wisdom. Yeah. And just be open to taking advice and learning from the people around him. He stands, honestly, I'm not even kidding. In my opinion, Nick Fuentes stands in a great position to do really well in his space. He's young, he's articulate, he has excellent memory recall, he has a wonderful vocabulary. He's young, but he is able to form his ideas and explain them very clearly. And I think with some of the, interactions he's having with these great, these awesome guys around him, like Tucker Carlson, and I say PBD. PBD talked to him like an older brother, and he gave him some pointers. And I think, with that, I think he could really he could take off. He could do really well.
You need someone who's not interested in what.
I mean, he's already really popular. It has nothing to do with being popular. It's more about becoming better rounded and just more widely accepted. Although I don't think he cares about being widely accepted, but maybe just improving his own outlook for himself.
You do at all, only interested in you. And that's how you become balanced and wise. That's how you know your own limits. Because the ass kissing is what kills you. It's not, you had someone come to murder you at home. It doesn't seem to have affected you that much.
And if I were married, dude, she would never let me hear the end of it.
Well, that's probably true, but that's not what destroys men. It's not adversity that destroys men. It's comfort and flattery that destroys men.
I agree.
Right? That's what happened to King David. It's what happens to them all.
Yeah.
You're so great. You can never go wrong.
I just feel like we have I don't feel like we have an abundance of affection from women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in terms of where the pendulum is at, I feel like the women are very unloving to the men. That's why they don't cook.
King, sure, bro, go for it.
Because that's like the best way to express a love for a man. I said this on my show the other night. I'm like, the most beautiful words a woman could say is like, I made you dinner. I made you cookies.
Yeah.
Because that is like an act of love. And I think that, speaking as maybe from a different generation, the way that men feel now is like, women are not really providing too much. They expect so much from the men. They want the man to be rich and provide.
Yeah.
They want the man to be fit and a real leader and a real man. They also want to split the chores with the man. They want the man to do half the laundry and half the dishes and things like that. And it's like, So what do you do all day? You're on TikTok, you're like doom scrolling and eating Cheetos. Like what actually are you providing in the relationship? So I just feel like in terms of the deficit, it's like women are very emboldened. They're too, I think, assertive, always giving their opinions, always critiquing, always.
Thanks for the tip, bro. Appreciate it, man.
I think that they're very bold right now, and sarcastic. I think that's a big reason why they're not very attractive.
I get it. All I would say is that in a happy marriage, all of that goes away. There's no
We
arguing
got Sean
about
on the caller line.
who does what.
Let's check
People
it
fall
out.
seamlessly into the roles they were born into. They acknowledge those. They're not insecure about it at all.
We got a live caller, guys. We got someone calling on. Sean from the chat is calling in. Let's go, bro. Here we go. And hello. Sean, you're live, bro. Are you there? Oh, actually, for some reason it's not on. Let me see why. I can hear you, but they can't. So let me figure out. Oh, give me 1 second, bro. 1 sec, dude. One second.
Nope.
Go here. And let's go. 1 second, guy. Where are we at? Right here. Boom. All right. Can you guys hear him now? Go ahead and speak. Yo, you there, Sean?
Hey, Medi, what's going on?
Not much, dude. Welcome to the live tonight, man. What's happening? What's on your mind? Yo.
Nothing, just watching your stream. Just chilling. I'm at
Right
my
on, dude.
home office right now.
Nice, dude. What do you think about some of the stuff that we're looking at, dude? I mean, do you? It seems like you agree with some of the stuff.
Yeah, so like with Nick, I think he's got a lot going for him. He's articulate, well spoken. He's got the right stuff to do podcasting, streaming. I think he just needs more mentorship from the experienced guys in the field.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to allude to, man. Is with PBD and with Tucker and a bunch of other guys. I think he's getting some of that. It's a matter of, does he absorb it? Does he internalize it? And what does he do with it? And he seems like a smart kid. He seems like he remembers what he reads or sees or hears. So I don't know. I think over time he can get a lot better. I know there's a lot of areas where he's rough around the edges. Definitely sometimes with some of the ways he explains himself and some of his views. He's a little rigid on some things and maybe a little extreme in some cases. But I think there's lots of potential there. But right on.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Nick is he's basically got to expand his mind. He's too rigid. You're absolutely right. He's too rigid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little bit rigid, man. He's just but I do see him kind of getting I have seen him improve, to be honest, from his earlier clips that I've seen to where he is now. I feel like he has improved a little bit. And what's up, World Debt? I think he's made some strides over the last couple of years, to be honest, from the very limited views or clips that I've seen from him. What do you think?
Yeah, agreed 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. Thanks for calling in. And do you want to hang on the line while we're doing all this?
Express love in a whole bunch.
Can you hear if I hit play?
Different ways by serving each other. It's like super easy, and all of that.
Can you hear all that?
Yeah, all good.
All right, cool, bro.
Obnoxious, entitled, you don't make enough money. All that crap just disappears. Anyway, that's been my experience. So last question, where is all of this going in this country? Like, where are we in 5 years?
Oh, Jen, by the way, I have a phone number if he wants to call in too. I got this random phone number that we could use for this that I will be changing constantly. So if he does want to call in, I can add him in on a call, or he could join the Discord.
Not anywhere good. I'm really concerned, and I'm not one of these doomsday sayers. You know, there's a lot of people that forever, you know, the sky's falling every day. But I really feel like the things that concern me the most, it's the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Seemed like we crossed a Rubicon there.
I agree with that.
Because he's just a conservative guy, relatively moderate, expressing his opinions. He's not the president. He's not a politician. And it wasn't just that he got shot. It was what happened afterward, which is that 100,000 liberals went on TikTok and celebrated. And that shows that how can you integrate or harmonize with people that hate you that much? They see some, you know, and I understand that liberals thought he was a jerk. Like maybe he was a little rude or something like that. And he really wasn't. I mean, he was pretty patient as they come.
I just tried to fill in for him last week and immediately snapped at some kid and threatened to beat him up and went crazy. And I had said a prayer for patience, by the way, and I still couldn't handle it. So, you know, Charlie Kirk was a remarkably even-keeled, patient, decent man.
I didn't see that where Tucker snapped at some kid, but yeah, dude.
Yes. And yeah, so whatever their perception of him was, to see him get his face blown up in front of everybody like that, and the first reaction of someone in the crowd who was present, some guy with a beard jumps up and celebrates. Did you see this?
No.
Some liberal kid in the audience jumps up and says, "All right."
I literally can't handle it. I'm so upset by it. I haven't looked at anything.
It's disgusting. And I saw that and said, yeah, like, there's no putting the genie back in the lamp here. That was one. The other thing I'm really worried about is what's happening at these ICE detention centers, where it's happening not far from where I live in Broadview, Illinois, where they set up an ICE detention facility, and the administration is rounding these people up, which I support, but they're doing it in a very provocative way. They're broadcasting it. They're making hype edits on Twitter of like these raids on apartment complexes, which I think are very cool, but it's somewhat provocative. And
yeah, so Rotting Head in the chat wants to jump on the line, but is afraid to give his phone number. I don't need your phone number. *67. It's a Google number I got. I'm going to keep changing it every so often, but you can also join Discord if you want, and nobody's going to have your number or anything. So you have a couple different ways to do that.
Antifa showing up. In order to protect ICE, the administration's putting DHS. Well, now they're protesting the DHS presence.
Okay, this is the part that I want you guys to listen to, and let me know if you agree with this, okay?
And the administration of the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago are telling Chicago police, don't help ICE. And they're encouraging the protesters. And what I see there is like a
All right, we should be back. We should be back right at the part that I wanted to listen to. We back? We should be back. Let's see here, dude. Yeah. There we go. We're back, baby. We're back. All right, sweet. Holy cow. All right, this is the part that I want to know if you guys agree with, dude. Here we go. Ready? And again, he's in Illinois somewhere. Where a lot of this stuff is happening, actually. It's pretty crazy.
For that to happen. So I'm deeply concerned about where that will go.
How would you handle it if you were in charge? If you're the president, what do you do about that?
I think maybe this is controversial, but they have to crush the other side. They have to, because you can do one of two things. You cannot.
So he's talking about the ICE and DHS going in there and doing what they're doing. So this is at 2:14. Let me go back just to give you guys a little context. Check this out right here.
Crowd who is present. Some guy with a beard jumps up and celebrates. Did you see this?
No.
Some liberal kid in the audience jumps up and says, all right.
I literally can't handle it. I'm so upset by it. I haven't looked at anything.
It's disgusting. And you see, I saw that and said, yeah, like there's no putting the genie back in the lamp here. That was one. The other thing I'm really worried about is what's happening at these ICE detention centers, where it's happening not far from where I live in Broadview, Illinois, where they set up an ICE detention facility, and the administration is rounding these people up, which I support, but they're doing it in a very provocative way. They're broadcasting it. They're making hype edits on Twitter of like these raids on apartment complexes, which I think are very cool.
Sean in the chat is saying, Medi, YouTube is messing with you. I searched medication. I had to scroll 34 posts before I find you. Yeah, I've seen that. I think what's happening is they're mistaking they're like taking what you put in as medication with a K, and they think their system takes it as a misspelling of medication, and it gives you medication stuff first before it actually gives you mine.
But it's somewhat provocative. And Antifa showing up. In order to protect ICE, the administration's putting DHS. Well, now they're protesting the DHS presence, and the administration of the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago are telling Chicago police, don't help ICE. And they're encouraging the protesters. And what I see there is like a level of tension that just keeps increasing.
Yes.
And there's leadership. There's civilian leadership on both sides. Like the governor and mayor, who are Democrats, won't back down versus a Republican president. There's a security division too, the police versus ICE, the police versus DHS. There's a constitution.
So State Line, this is in your hood too. So let me know what you think about what he says here. I'm really curious.
Constitutional question about the federal supremacy, you know, and I see all the ingredients of like a low boil civil conflict, full-blown civil war. And I'm not that guy, but I see all the ingredients there.
I do too.
For that.
Diane in the chat says he is telling the truth. State Line says he's pretty spot on, but watch what he notes. It's this part, what he says, what to do about it.
To happen. So I'm deeply concerned about where that will go.
Right here.
How would you handle it if you were in charge? If you're the president, what do you do about that?
I think maybe this is controversial, but they have to crush the other side. They have to, because you can do one of two things. You cannot challenge the left and let them do their thing, or you can utterly confront them and defeat them and remove hope from the equation. If you resist, you will be arrested. Like this is an insurrection. There's 10 million people here illegally. We're getting them out. You're rioting. You're going to jail too. Like it has to be crushed. But if you do anything less than that, if you do in the middle, all you're doing is antagonizing and feeding the other side. And if they think there's a chance they can win, they will get bolder and stronger and they'll start to rally. And that's when it's sort of like people think it's close or like it's contentious. That's when it.
Okay, so you guys are responding. Okay, cool. So what are you guys saying about this? Again, this is what I wanted to know what your thoughts were. Let's see in the chat right here. It says, Max says, love this dude. David says, if you're talking, someone is talking. You don't. Okay. It's really state line says it's really an all or nothing situation if we want to try moving forward with any hope. Yeah, he says if we're just gonna kind of diddle daddle with it and dance around it, try to do it and not kind of go all out on it, we're gonna just antagonize and make things worse. I believe that. And that's what's happening. We're seeing that happen right now. Clay says I'd vote for Fuentes. He says Fuentes. Fuentes would be a great president. Rottinghead is still hating on Fuentes and anyone that's not on the left and anyone that's not Antifa terrorizers. Let's see. State line says too costly, controversial, and divisive. We're already past the point of no optimal return. It needs to end one way or another. Mac says, yep, because there's the thing, they'll still find a way to discount you either way you go full force or not. Mac is, saying something that is kind of what I believe is no matter what you do, they go nuts. They're going completely insane already. Might as well just do it. Might as well just get it done. Rip the Band-Aid off, right?
It breathes. That's when oxygen is fed to this kind of fire. So if I were Trump, I would say screw 200 National Guard, like arrest the mayor of Chicago, like arrest the governor. Shut it down. Like make it clear. Like Washington, bring in the troops and say the federal government is supreme. The immigration law is the law of the land. Like it has to be crushed. But if you do anything less than that, if you do in the middle, all you're doing is antagonizing and feeding the other side. And if they think there's a chance they can win, they will get bolder and stronger and they'll start to rally. And that's when it's sort of like people think it's close or like it's contentious. That's when it breathes. That's when oxygen is fed to this kind of fire. So if I were Trump, I would say screw 200 National Guard, like arrest the mayor of Chicago, like arrest the governor. Shut it down. Like make it clear. Like Washington, bring in the troops and say the federal government is supreme. The immigration law is the law of the land. If you're not on board with that, you're going to jail. If you attack ICE or box them in with your car, you're going to jail for a long time. Anything less than that, you might as well just not even bark up that tree at all.
D-Man Price is the first time I've seen D-Man Price in the chat. He says, what's up, buddy? He says, we're done with these libtard riots. Over it. Yeah, man. Mac is over it, I could tell. Madara Uchiha says, I think he's right. Look at the end of the day. He says, I think he's right. Look at the end of the day. This has gone too far and does it right. Knees leader that are ready to go as far as you need to stop this. I think they're already making people out to be the devil. And they're already making this out to be like some insane thing that's happening. Way more than what it is. So might as well do it so that when they do accuse you of like doing this harsh, crazy thing, they're right. You're already taking the flack for it.
Nick Fuentes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Damn, dude, that was a good one. So I don't know. I kind of feel like we should rip the Band-Aid off, dude. Because they're already, the BTK says here, BTK says the leftists are already preparing to rob groceries if they don't get their taxpayer-funded food stamps, which the Democrats have created. Well, I posted something already on Instagram. I'll go to it right now. Here. Oh, you can't see because I'm on live. Will it show? Oh, yeah, I will show it. Oh, here you go. this kind of speaks to what BTK is saying. No, last week was no king. This week it's send me food, king. So no matter what you do, bro, you get cooked. There's nothing you could do. No matter what Trump does, he's Satan. You know, he's like, you know, a fascist and this and that. I mean, bro, they use so many different words already. They ran out of harsh words to say. They literally did everything they could. They said every word they could. They have ran out of crazy words to use. He might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and get it done, dude. In my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of you guys agree with that. I think where's that dang, Miss Medication made some dinner. I'm about to go get some dinner, guys, and I'm gonna call it a night here. We'll go and have my dinner and do some reading, and then I'm gonna do some admin stuff for businesses and go to bed, bro. I actually flip that around. Admin stuff, then reading, then bedtime. Dude, look, she just made some nice dinner, bro. Holy cow. You guys want to see it before I go? You guys want to see what's up? What's up? Here we go. So, whoa. Oh, I caught that, dude. Damn. I caught that. Cat-like reflexes. That's what happens when you play racquetball a lot, bro. You get cat-like reflexes. Dude, we got some salmon, some gangster salmon, bro. Look at this. Oh, can you even see that? You can't see that, bro. You can't even see it. You're all cut off. And you got Discord in there. Look at this. We got some salmon. And we got some sweet potato. Or whatever you call this. What is this thing called? I forget what this is called. Yams or whatever. Let's go, dude. Let's go. All right, guys. Omega-3s. Yep. Yams. Dude, we're chilling. All right. Dude, I did leg day today, guys. I did leg day. I did 30 minutes straight in the sauna. Cooked. Did some swimming. I did box jumps. I did all kinds of stuff, dude. So, you know, she's got to get me more protein. This salmon, honestly, it's good, but I'm going to need a little more protein. So I'll probably have her add a protein shake on top of all this. So I'll down this with the protein shake. And then I have a day off of working out tomorrow, so we'll have some time to do some clips and get all that kind of stuff done and get strong, bro. Guys, go get your gym work done. Go do your reading. Go improve your shit, bro. Work on your life. Make yourself better. Whatever you're doing, up it a notch, dude. All right? Love you guys. Thank you guys. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for subscribing. And Sean, thanks for jumping on the line and chatting. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I'll see you mañana.